Well, folks, we got a big day ahead of us today. Ruby, we're hiking. We're going to attempt to hike the full length of the Caledon Trailway. This is a trail that's going to be, we're going to see how much we can do today. The full thing is about 35 kilometers long. For our Americans who might see this, 26 miles, something like that. It goes across the entirety of the township of Caledon. We're starting here in, well, not quite the entirety, but almost the entirety. We're starting at the westernmost point at a little village called Terracotta. Very pretty village. And we're going to be hiking east and then kind of northeast up towards the area of Palgrave. Now, you guys might have noticed, I'm dressed a little differently for the hike today. Wearing my kilt. My family and my background are Scottish, and well, for a really long hike, to be perfectly honest, kilt is super comfortable. You know, I could wear shorts, but we got a bit of rain last night. It's hard to say what the weather's going to be. It's supposed to be okay, but for a long hike like this, I'll tell you what, a kilt is super comfortable. That, and towards the eastern end as we get near Palgrave, there is some poison ivy in that area. The only time I've ever gotten poison ivy in my entire life was there. And I got it bad, folks. I got it bad. It was not good. And it came back the next year. Stayed in my system and came back. So with the kilt, we wear the hose. We wear the knee-high socks. And that'll protect my legs. Again, I could wear pants. Kilt has more ventilation. Again, it's just going to be more comfortable. It's just going to be nicer. So we've gone with this. There's another hike that I hope to do that also there's some poison ivy in the area, and I'll wear the kilt there too. But anyways, this is a beautiful trail. There's going to be lots to see, lots to talk about. Let's get on with it. So Ruby is going to be very wet today. There are these ditches filled with water that run alongside pretty much on either side of the trail. And, well, if you've watched any of our other videos, you know Ruby and water. She just got to be in it. And we actually got a serious downpour of rain last night. It feels like every time I do one of these videos talking about us having gotten lots of rain. But we did. We got about 25 to 30 millimeters for our Canadians and a couple inches for our Americans, and so those ditches, oh, they're going to be full of water. Fun. Oh, Ruby's off on a side quest adventure there. Just had to go down and back up the hill, apparently. That is a pretty little hollow down in there, though. There's this kind of wigwam structure that some people or some kids have built. My son's played in this last summer. We came for a bike ride. And it's pretty interesting. It actually goes in and around. Clearly some kids hang out in here. Oh. No? No good, Ruby? Okay. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. There's this old abandoned cabin or shed back in here. I really couldn't tell you whose it was, what this is from. but it's definitely used by people in the area, kids again especially. It's got super weird, creepy vibes. But Ruby, no, get out, come on. I don't want her stepping on something, cutting a paw or whatever, but yeah, weird. Love to know what this used to be though. Well, unfortunately, I can't really get a better shot than this. It's the Credit River. We'll get a chance to see this again. We're going to cross it later. Now on the other side is the Credit Vale RV Park. And that's part of why I'm not going to go any further down to the river, because there is privacy, but it is very pretty. It is a pretty river. We'll talk about that river more a little later when we get to see it again, maybe. Let's go back up to the main trail. Okay, we're back on the main trail, and it's fairly flat, broad trail, kind of elevated with ditches on either side like I had pointed out before. Why do you think that is? Why is the trail like this? And it's like this the whole way. Well, more clever people out there and avid hikers and cyclists may have guessed this used to be a railway bed. So this was originally the Hamilton and Northeastern Railway line. Started in Hamilton, Ontario, down on Lake Ontario, and run up through Caledon Township and kind of curves up north again. It was built in 1877 and eventually incorporated as part of the Canadian National Railway. It was decommissioned in the 1950s, I think 1958, and it was purchased by the township of Caledon in the 1980s, and they converted it into this lovely path. It was the first section actually of the Trans-Canada Trailway, or pathway. It's a lovely trail. I can't wait to show you guys more. Now, something very interesting to see here, kind of see it behind the bushes, is the old Caledon or Cheltenham brickworks. You can see they're located right along the railway here. Very clearly abandoned now. It was opened in 1914. It was located here because there's a very particular type of shale clay that is excellent for making bricks. This was actually the first brickworks that ever produced bricks for a national and international market here in Canada. At its height, it was able to produce 90,000 bricks at a time. It ended up shutting down also in the 1950s. The location was bought by the Brampton Brickworks in 1993 because they wanted to use the quarry for that clay to continue making bricks. And they've preserved the buildings, the kilns, though the living quarters for the workers who used to live on site, those have been destroyed, but all of the kilns and the chimneys and whatnot, those have been preserved. I'll see if I can get you another look at them from another angle. Ooh. Who likes spiders? Ugh. Ruby, come on. We're just coming into Cheltenham here. We're taking a quick break. Ruby's run herself pretty silly so far. We're just gonna give her a chance to have some breakfast. She usually won't eat until she's had some exercise, so I figured this was a good time to stop and give her a break, a little bit of a rest, have a munch, and then we'll continue on. Another really pretty hollow. Oh, Ruby's found her way down there. What is she doing? Just had to go down and back up, Dad. Had to check it out. We have now entered the Caledon Golf and Country Club. It's actually a really pretty section. Funny story, last year Ruby and I hiked this section together and she was crashing around through the bushes, exploring, chasing squirrels and stuff as she does. And then I stopped hearing her. Couldn't hear her. Usually I can hear her running and jumping and crashing around in the bushes. So I start calling for her and I snap my fingers. She knows that's a signal that I'm giving her a command, and I don't hear her. I'm calling her, Ruby, Ruby, snapping my fingers. Nothing. Eventually she does come crashing up out of the bushes. What I think had happened was she was, running around exploring, probably saw a squirrel or a bunny and chased it out onto the green. And was chasing it all around out on the open golf course. That's what I imagine happened, and eventually she didn't catch it. She heard me calling and came back. I'm just thankful that it was early enough in the morning that there wasn't really anyone out on the golf course. Otherwise that might have been something of a startle for them. But hopefully she doesn't do it again. We are in Inglewood. Inglewood, a much prettier and quieter Inglewood than the one most people are familiar with, I'm sure. It's actually a very pretty town. Another old branch of the railway there. Oop. Yeah. Ruby just about tripped me there. Case in point, as we crossed the road there just a moment ago, there were some cars pulled up and just stopped for us to let us go. I didn't have to push a button to stop a light or anything. They just saw us standing there and stopped. So, very different Inglewood. Small town Ontario for you.